Hi students, hope you all are doing good. Today, as you know, we have to start a new chapter, electric potential and capacitance. Okay. Before we start the chapter, from the last class when I tried to find electric flux through a cube by putting charge sometimes at the corner, sometimes on the center of one face. Okay. Based on that, one doubt one of the student has asked. So let me just clear that doubt for all of you. Okay. So imagine I give you a cube which is a closed surface, something like this. Okay, so here is a cube, and imagine at the center of this face, not center of the cube, center of this face, suppose I keep a charge q. Okay, then the question the student asked is, what is the flux through this side a b c d, flux through a b c d, then flux through the cube, then flux through the side. Let's say this is EF, so flux through B E F D. So these are the three questions which we will try to answer before we start the new chapter. Now, if you see, this kind of question we did last class also, right? So if I ask what is the flux through this surface, so this is part A, part B, part C. So let us answer first part, flux through this surface. Can you tell me what will be the flux through this surface? Anyone? It should be zero. The flux through this surface will be zero. And the reason is the charge is on the surface itself. And you know point charge produces what kind of electric field? Radially outwards. So none of the electric field line, no electric field line will cut this surface. And if no lines of electric field cut a surface, then we say there is no flux. Take for example, see, imagine this is the surface ABC. Okay, here if I put charge at the center like this, okay, then this charge will produce electric field. Okay, look this one. So suppose I keep charge at the center, point charge. Now how electric field will start from this point charge? Radially outwards. So this line, this line, so these lines are not cutting this surface. Similarly this line here will not cut this surface, and any line that you draw here like this will be parallel to the surface. So if it is parallel to the surface, you know there is no flux. This is like, you know, people walking parallel to the door. Then we say there is no flux. Remember that example I used to tell you. So if there is a door, people should come out perpendicularly. Then we say there is flux. If they come at an angle also, there will be some flux. But if they walk parallel to the surface, then there is no outward flow of people. Understanding or not? So these lines of electric field from this charge, the lines of electric field will be parallel to this surface, which means it is not cutting the surface. So there cannot be any flux through this surface. Okay. So flux through this surface will be zero. Okay. So once we have understood this, now how to find flux through the cube? To find flux through this cube, though it is a closed surface, can I use Gauss law? No. To use Gauss law, the charge should be inside. This is on the surface. So what trick I told you? You have to do some construction. So imagine one more cube I make this side like this. Now if you take both the cubes together, this charge is in the center of this face and it is in the center of this face for this cube. Yes or no? So now for these two cubes, if I ask flux through two cubes, then for these two cubes, I can use Gauss law because for these two cubes, the charge is inside. So what is the flux through the two cubes? According to Gauss law, charge inside is Q divided by epsilon naught. Yes or no? Therefore, what would be flux through this one cube? Question was to find flux through one cube. That will be half of Q epsilon naught. Okay, so this you have understood, right? That is because any lines cut this surface, this cube will also cut this cube. That means both the cubes contribute equally to calculate the flux. So in calculating the electric flux through these two cubes, this cube and this cube will contribute equally, because whatever lines pass through this cube will also pass through this cube, because it is placed symmetrically with respect to these two cubes. Understood? No? Okay. Now the other part was to find flux through this surface. Part C was to find flux through this surface, which is BEFD. Okay, so let us imagine again. See, here is the cube. This charge is here, right? So let me draw it this side. Let me draw it here. So the charge kept here. The charge kept here. In any electric field lines you draw will not cut this surface, but it will obviously cut this surface. It will come out like this. Right? This is the surface. These lines, if you draw like this will come out of this surface. So there will be some flux here, but same flux will be there for this also, right? Because if one line is cutting here, one line will cut here also. One line will cut. You are understanding or not? So if this is the cube and here is the charge, if one line cut this surface, one line will cut this surface also. Like that, how many surfaces you have? 5 surfaces. So out of these 6 surfaces, this surface you know will not result in flux. So only the other 5 will contribute to the flux equally. That means I can write flux through the whole cube, flux through the whole cube, this one cube will be equal to 5 times flux through this surface, or you can say this surface also, because lines, if one line cut this surface, one line will cut this surface. If you say two lines will cut this surface, two lines will cut this surface also. So like that, there are 5 surfaces. Only this surface will not result in flux. This surface will be useless because the charge is kept on the surface itself. So any lines of electric field you draw will not cut this surface. So except this surface, all the other 5 surfaces will contribute to calculate flux through the cube. So flux through the cube will be 5 times flux through any one of the surface. Since in the question they have asked flux through BEFD, let me write flux through BEFD. Therefore, what will be flux through BEFD? Cross multiply, bring 5 this side. Understanding? So therefore, flux through BEFD will be equal to flux through this cube. Flux through one cube. Flux through one cube, how I calculated? By putting one more cube here that I did this side. So flux through the cube is how much? Half q by epsilon naught. Then you should divide by 5. So divide by 5, no? Because it is flux through the cube divided by 5. So then you will get q by 10 epsilon naught. So this is the flux through one surface except this surface. Only this surface will not result in flux. Okay. So this is one question which I wanted to discuss. Another question is, this is the first question you write, number 1. Suppose I take a cube like this. Okay. Let me show you clearly. Suppose I take a cube which will have 6 faces and I keep charge at the edge. Now can you tell me what will be the flux through the cube? For this question, can you try yourself? Think how many cubes you need to draw so that this charge will be symmetrically placed with respect to those cubes. So if I put one more cube here like this, then can I say this is inside the 2 cubes? No. Now I cannot say it is inside. So what I have to do? I have to draw 2 more cubes on the top. So if I draw 2 more cubes on the top, then this charge will be in the middle of those 4 cubes. Then I can find flux through the 4 cubes, and that will be q by epsilon naught according to Gauss law. Then I divide by 4. Why? Because there are 4 cubes. Question was to find flux through only one cube. So if they put charge on the edge, okay, EDGE. So if they put the charge on the edge of the cube, then you have to construct 4 cubes so that the charge comes in the middle of the 4 cubes. If I put on the center of one face, then I have to put just one cube. And already I have discussed, if I keep charge at the corner, then how many cubes I need to draw? If you remember, 8 cubes. Remember, one here, one back side, one that side, 4 of them in the downside, then 4 more on the top side. So like that, 8 cubes if you put, then this charge will be in the middle of those 8 cubes. Then find flux through the 8 cubes by using Gauss law, then divide by 8. That will be the flux through 1 cube. Okay, students. So I hope all of you understood. So try to think of more ways of asking the question and put the question to me through WhatsApp or comment. I will answer in the next video. Okay. Let us now start the new chapter, electric potential and capacitance. And if you remember last class, in the last part of the video, I have explained to you what is gravitational potential energy. So if I ask what is the gravitational potential energy of this pen or this marker at some position, remember potential energy is energy due to position under some force. Here the force should be gravity, because I'm talking about gravitational potential energy. And how did we define? It was the work done to bring this object from where? Reference to this position. From reference to this position against the force of gravity. And if you remember, I told the word slowly. Slowly means without any acceleration. Okay, students. So same way we will define electric potential energy by just replacing gravitational force by electrostatic force, or you can say electric force. Okay. So let us define. So before we define, let us understand. So imagine there is some electric field. It could be uniform electric field, or it could be, non-uniform electric field. It doesn't matter. So there is some electric field, you think uniform or non-uniform, it doesn't matter. Now at some point P, at some position P, let us say I keep a charge Q. Then this Q will have a potential energy at this position. Okay, that source charge is not this. Okay, source charge is the one which is producing the field. Like earth is there, earth is producing gravitational field. Then if you move a duster from reference position to some other position, then whatever work you do, that is called potential energy of the duster. What kind of potential energy? Gravitational. So here also we need some field, but not gravitational field, electric field produced by some source charge. Now don't think about what kind of source charge. Just think there is a electric field in this space produced by some source charge. At some position I keep this charge. Then how to define the work done to what is the potential energy of this charge? So potential energy, write down, okay, write down all of you. Potential energy of a charge Q at P in electric field, very important word, it has to be in electric field, is the work done to bring the charge from infinity. I'll tell you why I'm saying infinity. From infinity to that point, the point here is P, against which force? I should say against electric, or against electric field. Yeah. At the last you can mention slowly, or you can say without acceleration. Okay, so this definition please try to remember. So this is the definition of potential energy of a charge Q at some point P, and that point should be in electric field of some other charge. So how do you define? It is the work done to bring this charge from reference. And in electrostatics, like in gravitation chapter, if you remember, so write down this also. In electrostatics, the reference of potential energy, is taken to be infinity. Okay, so we take the reference of potential energy, means wherever potential energy is zero. The symbol for potential energy we write capital U. So reference of potential energy means potential energy is 0 where at infinity. So you have to start from reference. I have told you already last video. Okay. So here you mention instead of reference you mention the uh, word infinity, because in electrostatics we take infinity as the reference. If you want you can change the reference, but again I told you it is a convention. Everybody has decided the reference should be same, and that they have decided to be infinity. So whatever work you do to bring this charge from infinity to this point against the electric field of the source charge, okay, that work done to bring this charge from infinity to this point, that is the potential energy of this charge at this point. And you should mention that it is brought slowly. So when I say without acceleration, it means I am bringing the charge slowly. Okay, slowly. Now there is a new another concept called, this is potential energy. Okay, there is another concept called potential, only potential, and this we write the symbol V. So how do you define this word potential? Okay, so listen carefully. This is similar to this only, except what we will do, we will not bring Q charge, we will bring 1 coulomb charge. 1 coulomb charge here means unit charge. So what is potential at P if they ask? So same definition, potential V at point P in electric field. Point P should be in electric field. Okay, is the work done, same thing here. Okay, so write down the same thing. So is the work done to bring, don't write charge, is to work done to bring unit charge. Unit charge, and everything else will be same. Everything else will be same. So instead of bringing Q charge, if you bring unit charge, instead of bringing Q charge, if you bring unit charge, matlab 1 coulomb, then that is called potential at that point P. Okay, so let us just quickly revise. Potential energy is always for some charge at some point. So potential energy of a charge at some point is the work done to bring the charge from infinity to that point against the electric field, and without any acceleration you have to mention. Whatever work is done by whom, by the way, external force. Remember in last video I said Pankaj sir has to do work against gravity. Understood? No? Okay. Same thing here, but for potential, if they say find potential at a point, then you need to bring not Q charge but unit charge. So it is same definition. Okay, so potential at point P in electric field is the work done to bring unit charge from infinity to that point against the electric field slowly. Slowly means without acceleration. So basically what you should do is this word to bring this, the charge word you replace by unit charge. Okay, so write the two definitions yourself. Okay. So once we have understood the definitions, now let us try to relate these two quantities, potential energy of a charge at a point and potential at a point. Okay. So how will you relate these two quantities? Very simple. What is capital V? Potential. How it is defined? Just now I told, work done to bring unit charge, 1 coulomb charge against the field of some source charge, right, without any acceleration. All those details you should know. But in short, if I say this is work done to bring unit charge from infinity to some point. Now, instead of bringing unit charge, suppose I bring 2 coulomb charge. Let me not, this is the work done to bring 1 coulomb charge. Suppose I bring 2 coulomb charge. What will be the work done? 2 into V. So if I bring Q charge, this will be the work done by the external force. Understood or not? And that work done is nothing but what I told you, potential energy. So this is the relation between potential energy and potential. Understood or not? So this is work done to bring 1 coulomb charge. If you bring q coulomb charge, work done will be how much? Q into V. Yes or no, students? 1 apple, if it is 2 rupees, 6 apples will be 6 into 2 rupees. So this is work done to bring, work done to bring 1 coulomb charge, which simply means unit charge. Okay. Then if I ask what to be work done to bring q charge, so work done to bring q charge from infinity to some point will be q into V. Understood? Okay. And that work done is nothing but potential energy. So please memorize this formula 5-6 times, you can say, and try to remember it. Okay. So now let us write this formula in a proper way. Okay. So work done to bring q charge from infinity to point P. From infinity to point P. How will I write? Look carefully. Work done by which force? External force, remember. Pankaj sir, you can think. From where to where? From infinity to P. This work done is nothing but Q into V. V at which point? P. Yes or no? So potential at point P. Go back and check. Potential at point P I have mentioned is the work done to bring 1 coulomb charge. If you bring q coulomb charge, you have to write q into potential at P. Now, listen carefully now. Now, suppose I ask work done to bring q charge from not infinity to P, from some point P, let's say some point A to B. So now I am not asking what is the work done to bring the charge from infinity to point P. I am saying from some point to some point. Matlab, I don't want to move the duster from reference to P. I want to move it from some other point to some other point. I can ask, no, what is there? Then how will you write the formula? Work done by external force from A to B will be equals to, look carefully, how will I write? Q into Vp. See, this is P now, so here P I wrote, so it will be B here. Vb minus Va. Okay, so this is something very important. So this quantity is called potential difference. Potential difference. Actually, here also you can write, just like I wrote A to B, I wrote Vb minus Va. I can write from infinity to P, I can write Vp minus V infinity. Like this I can write actually. But already you know infinity is your what point? Reference point. So potential at infinity is taken to be 0. Is taken to be 0. Taken matlab we have decided. So therefore this formula will become simply Q into Vp. But if it is from another point to another point, not infinity to B, not infinity to P, from A to B, then it is Q into Vb minus Va, where Vb means potential at B and Va means potential at A, and therefore this quantity is called potential difference. So how will you define potential difference? Suppose I ask, so potential difference Vb minus Va, that will be work done from A to B by some external force divided by charge. So this is something very, very useful. So potential difference is the work done. So basically how, see, let me revise once. What is potential at a point P? Potential, if I ask, then is work done to bring 1 coulomb charge from infinity to that point against the electric field and all those details you write. But if instead of asking potential at a point, suppose I ask potential difference between 2 points, then what will you say? Work done to bring 1 coulomb charge or unit charge from A to B, from one point to another point. Don't say from infinity to P, say from one point to another point. So this is work done from A to B, not from infinity to B. Is it clear or not, all of you? Okay. So remember these formulas. So let us now do the first 5-mark derivation of this chapter. Very important derivation, keeps coming in your board exams many times. Okay. So look carefully. Topic is find potential at a point due to point source charge. Or they may sometimes not mention this word. They will say just potential due to point charge, positive, or let us start with positive, then we will see. So what I am saying is I have a point charge plus capital Q. Okay. So this is a point charge plus capital Q. Now you know in this surrounding space there will be electric field due to this charge. This is my source charge. So in the surrounding space there will be electric field. So if I bring another charge from one place to another place, slowly if I want to bring, then I will have to do work against the electrostatic force of this charge, or I can say against the electrostatic field produced by this charge, and that work done is nothing but potential if I start from infinity to some point. So let us say I ask, here is my source charge. My question is, at a distance r, what is the potential at this point? So that is the question. First understand the question. Here is a source charge. Starting source charge will always be point charge because it is the simplest kind of charge, point charge. Then we will go for ring of charge, spherical charge, line charge, sheet of charge, like we did in the case of electric field. Electric field is also produced by source charge. Understood? No? Okay. So just like that, we will do for other kinds of charge distribution also. But right now, we will start with point charge, and that is most important for board exams. So the question is, again let me repeat, here is a point source charge. Question is, what is the potential? Symbol for potential is capital V. Don't confuse with potential energy and potential. Potential energy is Q times V, and this Q is the charge which you are moving from infinity to that point. This is not the source charge, remember. Okay, fine. Let us start now. So I hope question is clear. Here is a point source charge. At this point, I want potential. So just like electric field is produced at a point, potential is also produced at a point due to some source charge. So this is my question, okay? So everybody understood the question, right? Okay. So now what I will do, I will apply the definition of potential. So it is the work done to bring unit charge from infinity to that point. Remember, right? Against the field of this source charge. Okay, so let us start. So let us say I have unit charge, and as I am coming from infinity to this point, let us say right now I am at some distance x. So x is my variable, and here is my unit charge, 1 coulomb charge. Okay, unit charge. So now this charge will be feeling a electrostatic force this way, because this is plus, so force will be this way. So I need to apply same force in this direction, yes or no? Or you can say this source charge will produce electric field this way. This is the electric field produced by this source charge. So that electric field will exert force on this 1 coulomb this way. So I will have to apply force in this direction. So how much force I will need to apply? The force that I need to apply is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. Source charge is point, so that's why I'm using Coulomb's law, because source charge is point charge. Q, and this charge is 1 coulomb divided by this distance square. So that much force I need to apply, because I have to move slowly, na? Since I have to move slowly, whatever force this charge will apply, which is this much, I also need to apply same force in opposite direction. Okay, fine. So now this is the now is this force constant force or variable force? Look the formula. It is a variable force. When you are far, this force will be less. When you come nearer, this force will be more. It will become stronger and stronger. So since force is variable, okay, to calculate the work done, you will have to use integration. You cannot directly write force into displacement. I hope this part is clear for all of you. Okay, please revise first PU. If it is not clear, let me know. I will revise for you. So since force is variable, because x will keep changing, x will keep changing. When I bring this 1 coulomb from infinity to some point, this x will keep changing. So if x will change, this force will change. So it is a what kind of force? Variable force. So for variable force, work done cannot be written simply force into displacement. So first we need to calculate small work done. So let us say I move this charge by a small distance dx. So this is dx. Okay. So look carefully. So for small displacement, I can take the force to be constant for small displacement. Before also I told you, for 10 seconds I can assume your height is constant. But for 16 years I cannot say your height was constant, right? From the time you were born till today, right? So for small displacement, not from infinity to this point, that is a large displacement. During that large displacement, this force will 100% change. But for small displacement, I can take the force to be constant. So how will I calculate the work done? See carefully. So work done to bring the charge or to move the charge by a small distance dx. So work done to move this 1 coulomb charge, to move the 1 coulomb charge by a small distance dx will be how much? That will be dw, which is a small work done. That will be force into displacement. However, you will see minus sign in the derivation. The textbooks and all will write minus sign. Now the reason for minus sign, that in exam what you have to write is this. Negative sign means work is done against the field, against the field. Matlab, field is this side, you are moving it in the opposite direction, so you are moving it against the field. Okay, so that's why they are saying there is a minus sign. But the more easy way to understand is this. Listen, you are moving the body this way, yes or no? Displacement is also there only. So it's very clear you have to do positive work, because the formula for work done is force into displacement into cos of angle. This is the formula for work done. And this angle, if I is the angle, what is this theta? Angle between force and displacement. So if angle is 0, force cos of 0 will be how much? 1. So it will be positive work. So I am applying force this way against the electrostatic force. I am applying force this way. Displacement is also this way. So I need to do positive work. So my work done must be positive. But sir, you have written minus sign. That is because I wrote dx, students, dx. Now what does dx mean? Dx, okay, roughly it means x final minus x initial, because it is change in x only. Dx means what? Dx is little sister of delta x. Delta x means what? Change in x. Change in x means what? Final x minus initial x. Now since I am moving this way, your x coordinate is decreasing. Can you see that your x coordinate is decreasing? So since x is decreasing, your final x will be actually less than initial x, because x is decreasing. So if x is decreasing, final x will be smaller. So if this is smaller, this is larger, your dx will be what kind of quantity? Negative quantity. So this dx is actually negative. So you need one minus sign so that this will be positive. So that is the actual reason why we put minus sign. That is because you are moving in such a direction that x is decreasing. So intrinsically, this dx is negative. Intrinsically means while writing the symbol, it looks like positive. But when you actually substitute values, you will find that this will be negative. And since this is negative, but I want work done to be positive because I am moving, I am applying force this way, and body is also moving this way. This 1 coulomb charge is also moving in the same direction. So work done must be positive. I know, right? Because I have to do work against the field. So I must do positive work, that is very clear. So this minus sign is there to make this work done positive because dx actually is negative. But this much detail they don't mention in the textbook. So for exam purpose, you just write like this. So what does the negative sign mean? Negative sign means work is done against the field. Work is done against the field. But I have given you actual reason also why we are putting minus sign. Okay, students? Fine. So once you have calculated the small work that you have done to move this 1 coulomb charge by what distance? Small distance dx. Now tell me total work done to move the charge, to move the 1 coulomb charge from where we have to start? Reference, no? Reference is where? Infinity. Infinity to point P, let us say. That means your x variable should start from infinity. So in bracket you can write from x equals to infinity to x equals to some distance r. That r is the final distance where you will stop. Remember in the beginning of this derivation I told you, here is a plus q charge. I want potential at this point. That was my question, if you remember. So what was the, how we have to do the derivation? According to the definition of potential. What is the definition of potential? Work done to bring 1 coulomb charge from infinity to this point. So when you are at infinity, this x will be how much? Infinity. And when you reach this point, final point, wherever you want potential energy. So if you stop there, potential, sorry, not potential energy, because we are bringing 1 coulomb charge. So it is potential. Then when you reach here, what will be this x distance? It will become r, no? Because what is x? Distance of the point from the, or distance of this 1 coulomb charge from the source charge. So when you are here, finally when you will stop here, this x will be r. So your x variable should start from infinity and it should stop at r distance. Okay? But this again you don't have to write in exam. So how will you calculate the total work done? By integrating the small work done. Understood or not, students? Okay. From where to where? From infinity to some point P. Now let us substitute the work done. What is the work done? Minus f dx. Right? Okay. From where? From infinity to r. Your x should be r, no? Because your variable is x now. So since your variable is x, you should put lower limit and upper limit of x. Right, students? Okay. Now, since this is done, let us remove this. So please keep writing, okay? Learn, uh, take these classes like, you know, like normal classes that you do in colleges. So you will have a practice. So now, what is the formula for this force we wrote already? Minus sign I can write here, infinity to r. This F is how much? F is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. Source charge is capital Q. The other charge is 1 coulomb divided by x square dx. Constants you can take outside. The constants are Q and 4 pi epsilon naught. What is left? Integration infinity to r. 1 by x square I can write x power minus 2. So now you have to know the formula for integration. What is integration of x power n dx? What is the formula for integration of x power n dx? So many times I have told you. X power n plus 1 by n plus 1. So here what is the power? Minus 2. So if this is minus 2, this will be how much? Minus 2 plus 1 minus 2 plus 1. So the formula will be q by 4 pi epsilon naught. This will be x power minus 2 plus 1 divided by minus 2 plus 1. upper limit is r, lower limit is infinity. So work done will be q divided by 4 pi epsilon naught. Now this is x power minus 1. In the denominator there is minus 1. Oh, I forgot this minus sign. See, be very careful, ma. Okay. So this I can write x power minus 2 plus 1 is what? X power minus 1, which I can write 1 by x. And there is minus sign here. And this minus 2 plus 1 is minus 1. So I can write here. Now upper limit is r, lower limit is infinity. Okay, you can substitute upper limit now, or you can take minus sign outside. It will be more easier. So if you take minus sign outside, then this minus will become plus. Then you will have inside the bracket only 1 by x, because I took the minus sign outside. Then r here, infinity here. What is the next step? Put upper limit in place of the variable. So variable is x, put upper limit 1 by r, minus put lower limit 1 by infinity. What is 1 by infinity? If you take one apple and divide by infinity times, what will you get? Apple juice. Matlab there is no apple left. So if you divide a number by infinity, you will get 0. So this is 0. Okay. So 1 by infinity is 0. At least for physics it is 0. So then what is left now? So the answer for work done to bring 1 coulomb charge from infinity to which point? P. How far it is? R from the source charge, which was capital Q. So work done is Q divided by 4 pi epsilon naught R. Okay, this is minus 1 by infinity 0. And by definition, this work done is nothing but potential at P. Actually, if you remember before, I wrote work done from infinity to P as Q into Vp, right? If you remember this formula. But here we are trying to bring what kind of charge? 1 coulomb charge. So this will be your 1 coulomb. So then it will be Vp. Okay, so whatever work you have done from infinity to point P to bring 1 coulomb charge is nothing but potential at that point. So the left side we know is potential. So what is potential due to point charge, students? Substitute this minus here, substitute this Vp here, sorry, not minus, Vp. So Vp is equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught source charge divided by distance. What is this R again? Let me remind you. This R is distance between source charge and observation point. Observation point means now that point where you want potential. So it's a very good thing we have done. Before, what you knew, if there is a source charge, capital Q or whatever symbol you write, it is up to you. So if there is a source charge capital Q, then at a distance r, at a point, we know how to calculate electric field. What was the formula? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q by r square. Now you can tell me not electric field but also potential. What will be the potential at point P? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q by r. Understood or not, students? Okay, so please remember this formula, memorize it very nicely. This is only for point charge. Now note some few things very important. If source charge is minus Q, this much derivation, okay, this is the end of the derivation. If you stop here, 5 marks you will get. Now some extra things I am telling, which is very important. If source charge is minus Q, I can take minus source charge also. What is there? Then while writing the potential at point P, you have to write 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught minus Q by R. That means it will be minus 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q by R. That is because potential is a scalar quantity. So you cannot say, sir, I will write magnitude like that. Minus sign will tell me the direction. See, in case of electric field, let us go back to electric field. If source charge is positive, electric field is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q by R square away. If it is negative, magnitude is same only, 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by r square, but it will be towards. So the sign of the charge, the sign of the source charge will tell you the direction of electric field. Understood? But potential is a scalar quantity because it is coming from work done. Work done is scalar. From first PU we know charge is scalar, 1 coulomb is scalar, work is scalar. So potential also is scalar quantity. So you cannot say you are going to write magnitude of the quantity and the minus sign will say the direction is opposite like that, because it has no direction only. So if the source charge is negative, you have to write potential as negative. You cannot say I will write magnitude of the charge like that. Be very, very careful. Okay students, fine. So this is one thing I wanted you to know. The other thing which I want you to now only understand is something very important. Okay. Just like electric field depends on source charge, potential also depends only on the source charge. You can see the formula has only one charge, which is nothing but the source charge. What was the formula? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by r, not r square, okay, q by r. So that is the formula for potential due to a point source charge. Now, how will I calculate potential due to multiple point charges? So if there are multiple point charges, then potential at a point will be the algebraic sum. This sum is algebraic sum. Why I am saying algebraic sum? Because this can be negative also if the source charge is negative. So be very, very careful. Okay. So if I give you one charge q1 here, another charge q2 here, and ask what is the potential here, then if they are point charges, you can use the formula whichever we have derived. So due to this charge, what will be the formula? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught source charge divided by what was r? Distance between charge and the point. So r1, let us say. So r1 plus 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught source charge divided by r2. What is r2? Distance between the source charge and the point. So if you have multiple point charges, then you have to find potential at that point due to each charge like this, and you have to add algebraically, because it is very much possible this is negative. Then you have to write minus sign here. Okay. Now this will be easier to calculate than electric field. Why? Because electric field was vector. So if it is positive, we used to draw away, negative towards, then we have to write angle between them, then you have to take root over a square plus b square plus 2ab cos theta formula we have to apply, or sometimes we have to take components. Yes or no students? But in case of potential, no worries, because it is a scalar quantity, so no need to show direction of potential. Just calculate the value of the potential, but if it is negative, you have to write negative. Be very careful. Okay. Now see something very interesting. I want to tell you something very important regarding electric field and potential. Okay. So this is again under note. It is not some specific topic, but it's very important note. Look carefully. Suppose I take a positive source charge. Let me write small q. Okay, it doesn't matter capital Q, small q, but just remember it is source charge minus. Okay, now if I ask you here how electric field lines look like this, right? All of you remember this. This is your electric field lines, and here how it looks like, radially inwards. That's right. More you can draw. Now see something very interesting. Potential at any point, choose any point P. Potential at point P will be how much? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by r. What is r? This distance. Here if I write potential at some point P, what will be potential? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. What I should write? Minus q by r. And r is this distance. Okay, so the magnitude itself is negative, remember, because it is because it depends on charge. Charge can be negative, so potential can be negative even if it is scalar. Okay, so now look carefully, students. If I go away from the charge, okay, if I walk along this electric field, if I walk this way, then see what is happening. R is increasing. So when R will increase, potential will decrease. When R will increase, potential will decrease in this formula as I walk along electric field. So as I walk along electric field, imagine I'm walking like this, and at every point I'm calculating potential. Then what will I find? Potential is decreasing as I move along electric field. Look here. Suppose I walk along electric field. Electric field is now towards the negative charge. So if I walk this way, what is happening to R? R is decreasing. R is decreasing. This will increase or decrease. Some of you are thinking increase because it is inversely, just like here. See, here R increases, this decreases. So here R decreases, you may think this will increase, but students, minus charge is there, negative sign is there. Negative sign, and you know minus 2 is greater than minus 5. Yes or no, students? So when this R will decrease, this quantity I know will increase. But minus increasing is actually decreasing. Okay, so please understand this small thing very, very carefully. So the minus sign here is because the source charge is negative. So students, be careful. When R, as you walk along electric field, in this case, R decreases. So some of you may think potential increases. No, potential decreases because there is a minus sign. And minus increasing is actually decreasing. So in both the cases, we learned one general rule, and that is along electric field, if you walk along electric field, potential always decreases. Potential, okay? Along electric field, potential always decreases. Or you can say electric field is directed from higher potential to lower potential. Or electric field is from higher potential to lower potential. Same thing, okay? Same. Both the sentence are actually same thing. So this is something important, okay? So if it is 5 volt, here it will be 2 volt. Because when R increases, this V will decrease. So electric field is away, so it is going from 5 volt to 2 volt. So volt is, by the way, the unit of potential. I forgot to talk about the unit, but I think you know from school days also. I will talk after this, no problem. So as you move along electric field, see, you are going from 5 volt to 2 volt. Here, if you move this way, so if this is minus 5 volt, this will be minus 2 volt. Yes or no, students? So electric field will be this way. So it is coming from minus 2 volt to minus 5 volt. Minus 5 volt is lesser than minus 2 volt, remember. So your electric field is again from where to where? Higher potential to lower potential. Understanding or not? So please remember these two facts, or forget these two if you want to forget, but this you should remember. Okay. So electric field is always directed from higher potential to lower potential. Can you tell me what will happen if potential is constant everywhere? What will be electric field? So if one more question, if potential is constant everywhere, then electric field will be how much? Answer is 0. Why? Electric field is always from where to where, I told, higher potential to lower potential. But if it is constant, if potential is constant, here also 10 volt, here also 10 volt, here also 10 volt, here also 10 volt, everywhere it is 10 volt, then there cannot be electric field, because electric field should be from higher potential to lower potential. All are 10 volt, so no higher, no lower, so electric field cannot exist if the potential is constant. So again, very interesting things we are finding out by just doing one derivation. So by doing one derivation, we are learning many things about the relation between electric field, which we did in first chapter, and potential in this chapter. Okay. Now we will do one very uh, nice derivation, but this derivation has never come in exam till now, and it is potential due to dipole, electric dipole. Okay, and we will do for only short dipole. Now this derivation has not come, it is little lengthy. I will try to explain it aram se slowly. Okay, everything we will understand. Time is there, no problem, but it has not come, that doesn't mean it will not come, remember. So who knows, in your next year exam this may be the one of the most important question. Okay, so let us do the next topic. Potential at a point. Potential is always calculated at a point due to source charge. Thus now we did 1 point source charge. So now I am not going to give you 1 point source charge, I am going to give you dipole. So potential at a point due to electric dipole. Okay. So let's say we have a dipole minus Q plus Q, and it's a short dipole. Okay, short dipole. So this is the center. Let us say this is A, this is B, this is C, and this whole distance is, suppose like we did before, 2A, then this will be A, this will be A. Now let us say my point is, my observation point is somewhere here. Okay, it is not along the axial line, it is not along the equatorial line, it is anywhere. Then let us say it is how far from the center, R. Remember that in the case of electric field also we took the distance from the center of the dipole, and let us say this angle is theta. So theta is the angle made by this R, this line, with the dipole moment. What is dipole moment? From minus Q to plus Q. And what is dipole moment? Equals to Q into either charge you take, any one of the charge, into distance between them. Okay, so I want potential. Before I do this derivation, there is one standard formula that you should be knowing. Okay, without that it will become too much long for me to explain. So look here. Okay, all of you, suppose I give you one line, and one line, some triangle, not right angle triangle, any kind of triangle. Okay, and this angle is theta. This distance is, suppose, A, this is R, this is R1. Okay, then how are these three related? So how they are related is, this is called cosine rule. Okay, but I don't know in mathematics you have done or not, so let me try to prove it in a very simple way. Let us say I put an arrow mark here, an arrow mark here, an arrow mark here. Then you can see from triangle law you can write this vector plus this vector is this vector. So A bar this side plus R1 bar equals to R bar. So R1 bar will be what? R bar minus A bar. So it is difference of two vectors. So now if you want this length, length means magnitude, no? Magnitude. So you have to take modulus of difference of two vectors. So this will be the distance R1. This is magnitude of this vector. So it will be R1. And how to write modulus of A bar plus B bar? First PU chapter you have to remember, modulus of A bar plus B bar, root over A square plus B square plus 2AB cos theta, because A bar plus B bar means what? Resultant vector. But here I want A bar minus B bar. So formula is A square plus root over A square plus B square minus 2AB cos theta. So this will be root over R square plus A square minus 2RA cos of angle between R and A, which is theta. So if I square both the sides, this will be R1 square. So this root I can remove. So this is something you should know, students. So let me try to remove everything now. Formulas and all you don't need. Derivation of this you don't need. What you should know is, in a triangle, if this side is A, this side is R, other side is R1, and this angle is theta, then this side square will be always equal to this, opposite to this angle. Okay, remember, opposite to this angle, this square will be A square plus R square plus, minus 2RA cos theta. So this is something you need to remember. There is a short way to do this derivation, but we should do according to NCERT so that you get full marks. So look carefully. So this you remember. Okay, students, keep it in your mind. Okay, come back to the derivation now. So let us say plus q is at a distance r1 and minus q is at a distance of r2, and this is your r. Okay, so we want potential at this point due to dipole. So since there are how many charges? Two charges. I need to add algebraically, right? So potential at P due to plus Q is, let's say, V1, due to minus Q is V2. Then write the formula for V1 and V2. What is V1? Potential here due to this source charge. Since it is a point charge, we can use the formula which we just now derived. So 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught source charge is Q divided by distance between source charge and observation point is R1. And this will be minus 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q by R2. Why minus? Because the second charge is minus Q. So now if I take Q by 4 pi epsilon naught common, what will be left? 1 by R1 minus 1 by R2. So we need to find 1 by R1, 1 by R2 in terms of given quantities. Given quantities is R, theta, and these charges and this distance. So we need to, you cannot stop here. Okay, you cannot say that, sir, I found the formula like that. Yes, if you know this distance and this distance, then you can use this formula. But I want in terms of this distance and this angle. Okay, I want the formula for potential in terms of distance from the center of the dipole. Okay, students, so let us see how to do that. So remember this formula, call this equation 1 or something. So remember, we need to find 1 by R1 and 1 by R2. Again, there is another thing you should know. I'm remembering other things. I think you know about binomial expansion, right? All of you have heard about binomial expansion. So look here. Suppose I ask 1 plus x whole square. Now, this is very baby question, right? So what is the answer? A square plus 2ab plus b square. This is the formula, right? A plus b whole square. Now, if x is very small, if x is much smaller than 1, then x square will be very small. Like if you take 0.01 square it, 0.0001 it will come. So this x square can be neglected. Can be neglected if x is very small. Then this formula will become 1 plus x whole square will become approximately 1 plus only 2x. But when this is allowed, this is only allowed if x is very small compared to this one. So now you can make it general. Matlab, if there is power is not 2 but n, then you simply write here n like that. And if power is minus n, you write 1 minus nx. So this is binomial expansion provided your x is very small compared to 1. So this also you need to remember. Okay, so let us continue. Now remember, I want to know 1 by R1 and 1 by R2. So look carefully, see this diagram. So R1, now look at this, this is called cosine rule, okay? In mathematics, they will usually teach you, I hope. So look at this triangle now. From figure, we can write this r1 square is opposite of this theta. So r1 square I can write a square plus r square plus, sorry, not plus, minus, see that formula, minus 2ra cos theta. Right, students? Okay. Since dipole is short, a square can be neglected because a is very small, so a square will be even more smaller compared to r square. So you can neglect this. Don't neglect this also, then your r1 and r will be safe. Don't neglect everything, okay? So this a square we can at least neglect. Then the formula will become r1 square equals to r square minus 2ra cos theta. Okay, now, okay. Now we wanted what? 1 by r1. So let us take here. Therefore, 1 by r1 square will be what? 1 by r square minus 2ra cos theta. Why I am doing like this? Because I want 1 by r1. So 1 by r1 square. 1 by ulta means 1 by ulta you do this. Okay, so what will be 1 by r1? This will be power half. No? So can I write here itself? So you write this. Next step, what you do? You remove the square. Then you can take square root or you can write power half. Now look carefully, students. I think this, let me keep it. This also let me keep it. So now listen carefully. You know that this is still large compared to this. This is still large compared to this. Now, whenever you have large plus small or large minus small and you want to do approximation, then always take large common. I'm telling you now also, later it will be very useful for you for more difficult questions in entrance exams if you try to solve yourself. Again, I'm telling you, if you have big plus small and you see, you can neglect the small, then that is approximation, but it is not a very, very good approximation. What you do is take big common and then see what will happen. So here, this is big, this is small. So see what I'll do. See, aram se we will do, no problem. So in the denominator, let me take r square common. What will be left? 1 minus 2a cos theta divided by r. Check once. If I take r square common, 1 will be left minus, here in I have to divide by r square now because I am taking r square common. You know, no, a minus b, if you take a common, you write 1 minus b by a, you have to write. Yes or no? So if you take r square common, you have to divide by r square, so 1 r will cancel, 1 r will be left here. Okay. Now what I have missed? Power half I have missed. Power half. So here power half is there. Power half. That means now I can write 1 by r1. I say 1 by r square power half. I can write 1 by r. 1 by r square power half. So 1 by r square power half means 1 by r power 2 by 2. That will be 1 by r. All these simple things you should know, okay? Otherwise it will be problem. Basically I am saying x power a power b is nothing but x power a into 2. Okay. Now this thing, let me take it up in the numerator, or let me write it like this right now. 1 minus 2a cos theta divided by r power half. Because 1 power half is 1 only. Now 1 power any number is 1. Then finally 1 by r1 will be what now? 1 by r 1 minus 2a cos theta by r minus half. Why minus half? Because this thing will go up. Right? You know this also. Look here, 1 by x power a is x power minus a. So 1 by x power half will be x power minus half. So if you take this whole thing up, it will be minus half will come in the power. Now this quantity, look carefully, a is very small compared to r. So small divided by large. Small divided by large will be less than 1. So this quantity is less than 1. Since it is less than 1, I will apply binomial result. Okay, so what will be the result finally? You tell me. 1 by r1 will be what? 1 by r1. This n I can multiply here, right? See, 1 plus x power n is what? 1 plus this n into x. So if you multiply this minus half here, this minus will become plus. This minus half, if it comes here, minus minus will be plus. Half and this 2 will cancel. So it will be a cos theta divided by r. So this will be your 1 by r1 we got. Now you will say, oh sir, we need to find 1 by r2 also. So 1 by r2 we will not be doing in detail because we can use the same result in a short way. Okay. So please make a note. I hope you understood what happened. So this is like your 1 minus x power n if I ask. Binomial result. How will you write? 1 minus nx, this n should come this side. Provided x is smaller than 1. So if this, and you know this is less than 1 because numerator is a, denominator is r. Cos theta is less than 1, don't worry. So this a is very small, like 0.01. This is like very large, like 100 meter like that. So 0.1 divided by 100 meter will be 0.00 something. So this will be very small. Into 2 also will be 0.002 only, no. So this will be very small compared to 1. And if this is small, you can use binomial result, which says 1 plus x power n will be 1 plus nx. So this minus half you can multiply with this quantity. Minus minus will be plus 2 and this half will cancel. 2 will cancel. Okay. Now if you repeat for r2, okay, 1 by r2, no need to do that. You can write similarly. I will try to prove to you, but not in detail. So look here. Similarly, if you do, you will get 1 by r2 will come. Guess what will come? 1 by r bracket 1 minus will come. Cos theta by r. Okay, to understand why this minus sign comes in case of r2, is look here. Yeah, r2 is this side. So I can use this cosine result for finding r2 also, but I will need this angle. And that angle will be how much? 180 minus theta. So wherever is theta, you write 180 minus theta, your answer will come here. So put 180 minus theta here. What will you get? Minus cos theta. So that is how it becomes minus. But no need to show all those in exam. Already it is quite long, no? Okay. Fine. So we got 1 by r1, we got 1 by r2. So now I can remove almost everything. So I was not removing the diagram because I wanted to explain why this minus sign is coming here. Okay students, so let us now write finally the potential due to dipole at a point P. What is the formula? It was source charge is Q by 4 pi epsilon naught. 1 by R1 is this. 1 by R bracket 1 plus A cos theta by R. Okay. Then there is minus 1 by R, 1 minus A cos theta by R. Okay. Now let us see, to simplify. Q by 4 pi epsilon naught. 1 by R into 1 minus 1 by R into 1. That will cancel. And this will be A cos theta by R square. A cos theta by R square. Minus minus plus A cos theta by R square. So this will be Q. This will be twice. No, by 4 pi epsilon naught 2A cos theta by R square. See how the result is becoming nice, more smaller and smaller. Okay, now remember what is this? Q into 2A. What is this quantity called? Charge into distance between the two charges in a dipole is dipole moment. So finally the result is V at some angle theta is P cos theta by 4 pi epsilon naught R square. So very useful result. For your entrance exams, you should remember that potential due to dipole is inversely proportional to R square, not R. For point charge, it is 1 by R for single charge.
See, this is similar to electric field. If you go back to the first chapter, electric field due to point charge, if you remember, was 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by r square. But for dipole, when we did for short dipole, we got 1 by r cube. So similarly, for potential also, it will increase by power 1. So in case of point charge, potential is inversely proportional to distance. Here for dipole, it is inversely proportional to square of distance. So this power 2 you should remember for your entrance exam. They will ask you this. Okay. So keep in mind this formula. So let us use now this result to ask two basic questions based on potential due to dipole. So let's say I have a dipole here, minus q plus q. This is center C, this is P, this is R, this is theta, right? Okay. So we know potential at this point now is given by this formula. Now tell me, at axial point, if I ask you potential due to a short dipole, axial point means this P should be in this line. So if this P is in this line, along this line, if this P is here, then what will be this theta? 0. So at axial point, theta is 0 degree. So what will be the potential at axial point due to dipole? P cos 0 is 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught r square. Now answer the same question for equatorial point. At equatorial point. Equatorial point means which point? This P should be in this line here, above this center here. Then what will be theta? Theta will be 90 degree. So what will be potential at equatorial point for a dipole? 0. Yes or no, students? Because cos 90 will be 0. Substitute theta 90 here. Okay, and it is expected also. For dipole, it is expected. Because if you ask potential here, then see this distance and this distance will be same. So potential here due to plus q will be what? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught plus q by r. Due to minus q will be 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught minus q by r. So those two will be same and opposite sign. Direction don't say. This is scalar quantity. So it is like two numbers. One is plus 2, other is minus 2. If you algebraically add, you will get 0. Okay, students. So at equatorial point of a dipole, potential is 0. So now answer this question for 1 mark. Give me one point where electric field is not 0, potential is 0. Quickly you tell. Equatorial point of a dipole, because you know electric field here is not 0. No, electric field here was in the opposite direction of dipole moment. So dipole moment is here, means electric field was here. So at this point there is electric field, but at that point what was the potential? Just now I told 0. So if they ask you in exam for 1 mark, mention a point where electric field is non-zero, potential is 0, then you can easily answer a point on equatorial line of a dipole. Fine. So let us do now some learning exercise or numericals in our EPL. So let us look at learning exercise 2.1. Okay, learning exercise 2.1. Question number 1. Look carefully. A point charge 9 nanocoulomb is at rest. So there is a charge 9 nanocoulomb. What is the potential at a point P whose distance from the point charge is 3 meter? So they want potential at some point whose distance from the point charge is 3 meter. This is simple, right? So this is your R, distance between source charge and point. They want potential, not electric field. So potential is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by r. The value of this constant is 9 into 10 to the power 9. Source charge is 9 nanocoulomb. Nano means 10 to the power minus 9 coulomb divided by r. R is 3. Sorry. So this 3 will cancel this 9. So 9 3s are 27 volt. Okay, let me quickly tell you the unit. Okay, SI unit of potential. SI unit of potential. So if you remember, the way we defined potential was, right? If you remember, I told you work done to bring a small charge, whatever charge, Q, Q naught, whatever symbol you write, from infinity to some point P is Q into Vp. This is the work done to bring Q charge. If you bring 1 coulomb charge, then you put here 1 coulomb. So what will be potential work done from infinity to P divided by the charge? Now be careful, okay, this is not your source charge. This is the charge which you are moving against the field of source charge. So there is already some source charge which is producing the electric field. You are moving the charge, this Q, from some place infinity to some point P, and the work that you do is this much. So this is work done to move this charge. So since you are moving this charge, this is not the source charge. The source charge should be sitting somewhere, producing the electric field, like Earth. Earth is like your source mass, right? It produces gravitational field. Now when you move a duster, you have to do some work, and that work done is what we call potential energy stored in the duster and Earth system. So similarly, this is the potential energy basically, which we'll come to later. So potential unit will be what? Work divided by charge. So it will be joules per coulomb. So that is the SI unit. And this we write as volt, based on the scientist Volta, who did lot of important work in discovering batteries. Okay. So please remember the unit. Units always come from the definition or the formula that is coming from the definition. Okay. So please remember the unit. So they may ask you what is 1 volt. So 1 volt is the potential at a point when you do how much work? 1 joules of work to bring 1 coulomb charge from infinity to that point. Because if you want 1 volt, then the work should be also 1 joule, no? Okay. So those things you see in EPL, okay, simple definitions. So this part is over. Let us see question number 2 now. How can you keep 4 point charges plus Q minus Q minus Q at the 4 corners of a square so that both electric field and potential at the center is 0? So how should you keep 4 charges plus Q minus Q so that electric field and potential both are 0 at the center they are seen? So this is your observation point. Now if you keep plus Q here, minus Q here, then potential will pakka be 0, potential, because potential here due to this will be 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q by this R. Due to this, same. Due to this, it will be minus, same. Due to this, it will be minus, same. So potential will be 0 no matter how you keep the charges. You put minus Q here, put plus Q here, no problem. Potential will be again 0. So potential at P will be 0 no matter how you keep the charges in the 4 corners, because this distance will be same. Value of charge is also same, except 2 of the charges are positive, so they will produce positive potential, and these 2 will produce equally negative potential. So total potential will be 0. But electric field, you have to be careful, because electric field is vector quantity. So if you keep like this, electric field cannot be 0, students. Why? Due to this charge away from this charge, due to this charge towards that charge. Similarly, due to this charge away from the positive charge, due to this charge it will be towards. Some students got confused regarding away towards are very confusing. Alright students, if this is the source charge, electric field here due to this will be either away from this or towards this, depending on the sign. If sign is positive, away; if sign is negative, towards. Similarly, if I put one more charge, if it is positive here, it will be away; if it is negative, it will be towards this charge. So these two electric field, how they will cancel, because they are not at opposite angle, they are 90 degrees, so there will be some resultant electric field like this, correct na? So if you keep charges like this, potential will be 0, electric field will not be 0. They want electric field also to be 0. So the best way is to keep, I think all of you must have understood, you should keep plus q here, minus q here, minus q here. Or you can put minus q, plus q, plus q. Then see what will happen. Due to this, electric field here will be away. Due to this, it will be away from this. So those two will cancel because distance is same, charge is also same. Similarly, this minus q will produce 2 watts. This is due to this minus q. Similarly, due to this minus q, electric field will be 2 watts. So now you can see electric field at this point will also be 0. So this is how you should keep the charges. So you should draw the diagram and put the charges. Okay, so this is our learning exercise. Let us see numerical exercise 2.1. First part is saying calculate potential at a point P due to a charge 4 into 10 power minus 7 coulomb located 9 centimeter away. This is directly only, no? Just now we did similar question. Then they are saying hence obtain the work done in bringing a charge 4 into 10 power minus 9 coulomb. This is another charge. This we are bringing from infinity to the point P, they are saying. Does the answer depend on the path along which the charge is brought? So good question, many things you will learn. So question number 1, numerical exercise number how much? 2.1. 2 matlab second chapter, first numerical exercise. Okay, so listen carefully. First part is just to find potential. So they are saying calculate potential at a point P due to a charge. Due to a charge matlab that is your source charge. Source charge will produce electric field around it, and at every point there will be potential. Last chapter you learned about electric field, students. This chapter you are learning about potential. That is also a property of source charge. So your source charge, give some symbol, capital Q let's say, is equal to 4 into 10 power minus 7 coulomb. So due to this source charge, they are asking potential how far? 9 centimeter away from this they are asking. So let us call this point P. So first you have to calculate potential. So potential at P due to the charge capital Q. Since it is point charge, we can use the formula that we derived, 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught value of the source charge divided by distance between source charge and observation point. This constant value is 9 into 10 power 9. This charge is 4 into 10 power minus 7 coulomb divided by 9 centimeter is 9 into 10 power minus 2 meter. So R 9 into 10 power minus 2 meter. SI units you have to use. 9 will cancel. 4 into 10 power minus 2 will go up. Plus 2. Plus 2, 9 will be 11. So plus 11 minus 7 will be 4. Right? So this much volt. So this is the potential at point P. For second part, what they are doing, listen carefully. They are asking you calculate, hence obtain the work done. Work done they are asking in bringing a charge 4 into 10 power minus 9 coulomb from infinity to this point. So from infinity, I don't know where is infinity, let's say here. So from infinity to this point, you are bringing another charge. Let me call it Q naught. Okay, let me not write Q. You can write Q if you want. See, if you write this capital Q, you can write small q, no problem. But if you write small q here, you should not write Q, small q here also. Then it will be confusing, no? So this is the charge which we are moving. This is the charge moved or charge which is brought. Sorry again. So this is the charge which is moved, or you can say brought from infinity to that point. You will have to do work, yes or no, because this charge will exert some force. And this they have not mentioned, but this has to be assumed to be fixed. Otherwise, because of the repulsion, this is also going to move, right? But once they say source charge, no, it is always fixed, it is understood. So now when you bring this charge, you will have to do some work. How to calculate that work done? So work done to bring Q naught charge from infinity to point this P, W, that will be equal to. Now think carefully. What is the meaning of this potential? Work done to bring 1 coulomb charge. So if you want to bring 2 coulomb charge, you have to multiply by 2 into this. Understanding or not? So you are bringing how much charge? Q naught. So it will be Q naught into potential at P. That's it. Understood or not? Again, I am telling, understand very carefully everything. This is work done to bring unit charge. So to bring 2 coulomb charge or 2 unit charge, you have to multiply with 2. In this question, they want you to bring Q naught charge. So you have to multiply with Q naught. The value of the charge which they are bringing is Q naught is given 4 into 10 power minus 9 coulomb. Okay, so how much it will be now? Tell me. 4 into 10 power minus 9. Potential at P is how much already we found? 4 into 10 to the power 4. So 16 into 10 power minus 5 joules. Since it is work, it should be joules. Okay, students. The third part in this same question is, they are saying, this work that you have done, does it depend on the path? They are saying. The answer is no. The work done does not depend on the path, does not depend on the path, since the force, electrostatic force, is what kind of force? Remember, conservative force. Electrostatic force is a conservative force. Is conservative in nature, you can write in nature. So since it is conservative force in nature, conservative force means the work done does not depend on the path. It only depends on initial position, which is infinity, and final position, which is P. So why you did work to bring this Q naught charge? Again, understand, you did work because this charge was sitting here. If this charge was not sitting here, there would be no concept of work done against the field. Yes or no, students? If Earth was not there, why will you do work to move this pen or marker from here to here? If you slightly do like this, it will go by itself. Newton's first law, no? Yes or no? A body in motion will continue to be in motion if there are no forces. But if there is Earth, it will apply some force. Against that force, you want to move it slowly. Upwards or downwards, it doesn't matter. If you want to move it slowly, you have to balance the force of gravity. So here you have to balance the force felt by this due to this charge. Understood? So no need to do again integration and find the work done. Why? Because we have already done the integration to find this formula. Understood or not? So why we are doing all this hard work of calculating potential at a point? Due to a point source charge, so that we don't have to do integration again and again to calculate work done. Once you know potential at a point, you multiply with the charge, you will get the work done to bring that charge. So please remember, this is the charge which you are moving, and this potential is due to the source charge. Due to the source charge. So think about all these things very carefully, okay, and apply it. Then only you will fully understand it, okay, and try to solve home exercises also. Next question is little lengthy, but it is very important. Simple it is, don't worry. So we will do it in the next class, okay. Tomorrow's video you will be seeing. So students, again and again I am telling you, revise whatever is going on. Don't see just once and then stop. That's why I'm saying whenever you listen to the lecture, write down. Write down whatever you are seeing, you write down. That writing only is a way of studying and understanding. Okay, thank you. See you next class.